Everyone, welcome to the PYRESWAP show, sponsored by Pocket. Are you guys bullish? Are you guys excited? Are you guys happy that your eyes finally agree with what your beliefs were, right? Your belief from sight and your belief from faith are finally aligned, right? Are you guys feeling confident that 5 wasn't lying to you the whole time? Pyre Phantom up fucking 50% on the day. I mean, I don't know why. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Western Daily? Steven Artist. We stream 6 times a week, but we're actually cutting it to 4 times a week. So this is the show called the PYRESWAP show, which is done for the project called PYRESWAP. PYRESWAP is a extremely unique Web3 dApp, and it's unique enough that it kind of merits its own like educational and I guess like community engagement type of cadence, if that makes sense. A lot of this stuff is not as simplistic or as it's just not a meme coin. Let's put it that way. In fact, I want to say that to really wrap your head around PYRESWAP, you need to take about 3/4 of what you understand about crypto and like delete it and start from scratch, because this is really a paradigm shifting project. And I, more so than I care about making myself rich or my investors rich, even I know they sometimes are mad at me with their whole patience, but I need to prove that I'm fucking right. Does that make sense? Like, proving that I'm right is fucking making my user base better off, if that makes sense. So we stream 4 times a week now, starting next Monday. We're gonna announce new times. What games have I played? Oh, we played the Incantation Witch Vault. Yeah, which is a game on PYRESWAP, if that makes sense. Yeah, we are not like a gaming streamer. Yeah. I mean, like, maybe we will do that later if there's a certain video game that provides for a good training aid. But yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks, Steven Artist. Are you a bot? Because I think that you get these kick comments, and it's like, hey, I happen to be an artist, and then add me on Discord. And yeah, let me ask, yeah, are you a bot? Let's see what the next message is. I was talking to a bot the whole time. I mean, bullish, I don't know what to say. Yeah, you guys, the Turing test, it gets closer and closer. Do you think it was a bot and it disconnected from hearing the word bot? Damn, that would be no, I'm not a bot. Holy shit, not a bot. Okay, Steven, what would you like to make for us? Yeah, not a bot. Yeah, I can give you the, do you see PYRESWAP.com and PYRESWAP at X? Do you see these things right here in the footer on the stream? Yeah, could you actually DM the Twitter account here? Yeah, could you DM the Twitter account here? Or you can go to PYRESWAP.com and join our Discord. Right now, our Discord, PYRESWAP.com might be down because we're changing the name server. So if you go to, you can either go to PYRESWAP.com, like, yes. Yeah, there you go. You can actually find our Discord link in the restream comments. Can you see the restream comments? Yeah. By the way, our Discord membership is going up, and something that I was going to tell you guys, I think what I'm going to do you guys know the little NFB pop-up we have on the dApp site? Do you guys know what I mean? Like, not beginner friendly, right? It's really the NFB message, right? And then it says, like, you know, proceed to PYRESWAP or like go to PancakeSwap. Do you guys know this pop-up? That's the yellow pop-up, our famous yellow pop-up. Do you guys know this? Yeah, I'm assuming people in Discord only do. So I'm thinking about adding a button, and this button would be like a wider button here, and it would say like, yeah, join Discord to learn. Does that make sense? Right? Join Discord to learn. Can you guys see it right there? So literally there will be a third button there, and I think that might be a great button for actually converting our traffic into Discord users. Does that make sense? Like, I think that, like, just making them say a yes or no question is perhaps not the way that we want to think of as a funnel. Does that make sense? So, like, again, our goal right now is getting more users, right? Well, the best users we can have are going to be Discord users, obviously. Does that make sense? Like, this was a DApp designed for the use of Discord, arguably, or Discord-like platforms. So I think that we would relinking the Discord, if you guys get what I'm saying here, relinking the Discord here and making it a larger button, join Discord to learn, that would also be useful. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Like, anybody who's like not sure, right, on like the whether or not they're a beginner or not, they'll now join the Discord. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Okay, so this will probably get implemented later this week. I haven't fucking built the wireframe yet for a fucking front end, but yeah, I'm just thinking about, like, I wanted there to be like this type of like friction decider, but I realized that so many people. Hi Fexer, how are you? Thanks for the comments. Yep. Okay. Lonnie, yeah, AK Alvarez 24118. A request on my Discord. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Over there on Kick. Yeah, my Discord. If you can read this. My Discord username is PHITHE5. Can you read this, Steven Artist? Can you guys on Kick or Twitch or any other platform read this? By the way, bullish that we have more people in the chat on these other platforms. I mean, that's great. That's great. Yes. Oh, yeah, and there's a lot more people coming to the Discord. I noticed that, too. We have, like, a surge of people showing. Yeah, by the way, pink blazer on a pink Wojak shirt, and I want you guys to know, should I just throw the whole outfit away? Are we never going back to pink Wojak season again? We will. There's crypto winter for that. Don't worry. Crypto winter will still happen. But, to be honest, again, the reason that I have this shirt is like for the mockery of the whole pink Wojak effect. Because the whole value add, the whole fucking slogan, right? What is the biggest bragging point? The biggest bragging point. And truly, I'm glad we got to fucking prove it so ridiculously violently. Is that red candles do not kill this project. Make sense? Yeah, are you not entertained for real? Okay, now guys, I want you to understand, and this is something that my producer has told me as well, that like my whole KOLness, my whole burgeoning influencer status is like a key aspect of marketing this project and the branding of it. Would you guys agree? Like, it can't be separated from me. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So, like, the fact of the matter is that doing these death-defying circus stunts on the price chart, if you guys understand that whole fucking reference, these death-defying circus-like stunts, these acrobatics, if you will, this is all about the building the rap sheet of FIDE. When FIDE says red candles can't kill this project, if I'm gonna go say shit like this, yeah, the new Kim K, exactly. We're gonna be the Kardashians of Web3, guys. Yeah, I can't wait. But the fact of the matter is, and by the way, Kris Jenner, brilliant as far as the whole branding and fucking content marketing thing. And I think Kris Jenner is one of the main thought leaders in that whole idea. Yeah, I think that Kris Jenner's like ideology is like permeated around the internet now. People don't even understand why. Yeah, like it's I think it's subtle, but that's where I would look anyway. Yeah, Steven, I will definitely accept your friend request. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, so the point of it is though, we are the Senor Circus, and that does imply that we can put on a show with money. Does that make sense? I know that sometimes this show makes people nauseated. Sometimes this show makes people laugh. Sometimes it makes them cry. Sometimes they get, I don't know, covered in elephant shit. But the show will go on. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah. So, anyways, there's no way that I was going to be able to make this type of claim, red candles don't kill this project, if I wasn't going to fucking prove it. Like, right out of the gate. Does that make sense? This product is still young. I know that most products last, like, I don't know, 30 days or less these days. This product is designed to last for 30 fucking years. Does that make sense? Or more. Yeah, as long as its chain lives, right? Bitcoin is 15 years old now, right? Or almost 15, or I guess it's 15. But the fact of the matter is that, like, Bitcoin being 15 years old, like, should we think that the chains that we're building on won't last 15 years? Does that make sense? Yeah. I want you guys to understand this as well, pertaining to our relationship with Phantom Foundation, now known as Sonic Labs. I don't have any sort of rejection or problem or, insight to, like, their organizational decision to launch another chain. But rather, like, we as well could bring the GPSC onto Sonic. Does that make sense? Like, it's not a problem. But the fact of the matter is I am going to choose Phantom Opera as, like, the initial theater for me to prove my theoretics and to prove things like red candles can't kill this project. Does that make sense? Like, right now, our user base is small enough that BNB and Avalanche don't even have as much of a user base as Phantom. Does that make sense? So it doesn't make sense for me to spread myself thinner while we're still in the process of gaining eyeballs. Does that make sense to you guys? So, like, it's not that, like, we reject the super fast high-tech Sonic chain, as it were. Does that make sense? It's just the fact of the matter is it's not a fit for the GPSC right now while we have suboptimal user count. Does that make sense? Like, we have to hit our first objective, right? We have to hit our first objective and prove that we know what we're talking about on the chains we're at. Does that make sense? I'm going to repeg, right, 6 fucking tomb forks first. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you guys get it? We're going to see 6 tomb forks repeg. 6 of them. 6 of them, okay? Like, not just one. Do you guys know why we even have so many fucking tomb forks in the GPSC? To also increase the level of gap about what my capabilities are compared to everybody else's. Like, most other tomb forks, people can't repeg 1. 5 can repeg dozens simultaneously. And I will prove this. I will prove this. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, not that, like, oh, hey, 5 is 10% better. No. 5 is just decades and decades better than everybody else in that same layer. That's what's willing to be proven here. Does that make sense? So I'm going to prove that to the point where, like, it can't be put into question. Does that make sense? Like, I will prove that with an iron fist. Like, I will prove that with, like, severe violence and cruelty. I will make it unquestionable. Does that make sense? Yeah. It would be irresponsible for me to focus on my personal brand and put myself in a place where I have contemporaries or I have rivals or I have competitors or I'm viable. No, our goal is not viability. Our goal is not viability. What is our goal? What is our goal? Do you guys know the word I use? Zero Kex is correct. But there's another word I use that starts with a D. Domination. Yeah. Our goal is not viability. Our goal is not keeping up with the Joneses. Our goal is not, oh, PYRESWAP is another good project. No. Like, that's where we are, in fact, creating a Reddit strategy campaign around inserting ourselves now. But yeah, no. This, again, look at the economics of this project. Look at it. Do you guys know? I'm gonna teach you guys some Feidian theoretics today. I'm gonna teach you 5 hierarchy of needs for Web 3. Did you guys know that Web 3 has a hierarchy of needs? This is based loosely off of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. 5 hierarchy of needs, Web 3. By the way, this is you. You watching this stream right now. This is a hierarchy of needs I built for you to demonstrate how well I understand you. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is very, very, I think it has like 5 or 6 tiers. We only have 2 tiers here. We only have 2 tiers, but the second tier is split into 2. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it like this. I'll abbreviate it. This one is called NLM. We're gonna use a different color here. Okay. Can you guys read this? Okay. So, the first hierarchy of needs, the utmost and apex hierarchy of need in a Web3 user is NLM. Do you guys know what NLM stands for? You know what? I'm not going to talk about the top one first. I'm going to talk about the bottom ones first, okay? So this is tier 1 and this is tier 2. There's only 2 tiers in FI's hierarchy of needs for the Web3 user, okay? The blue one here is the tech. This means exposure to the tech. Exposure, education, engagement. I think I'm going to call it the 4 E's. The engagement and the experimentation. Does that make sense? The tech, yeah, the 4 E's. Here, I'm going to change this to call it, 4 times E. Okay? That's how I'm going to abbreviate this in the future. The 4 E's. Exposure, education, engagement, and experimentation with the technology itself. Yes, the E's. Okay? Does that make sense? Do you guys get what I'm saying? This is a tier 2 need of the Web3 user. A tier 2 need. People do in fact like learning this stuff, especially when it clicks. Does that make sense? When you have like a concept click, this is a dopamine and serotonin, and it is a positive neurochemistry in the user. Okay? Do you guys know what MM is? I should just make this E, actually, you know, just get rid of the 4. Not MetaMask, that's correct. It does not mean MetaMask. It is not market mothering. It's not mother's milk. It's not Marshall Mathers. Okay? It is making money. Does that make sense to you guys? Did you guys know that making money is actually a tier 2 need? It's not the need that matters most to all Web3 users. Okay? Exposure, education, engagement, and experimentation with the tech is on the same tier as making money. Does that make sense? These are both the needs. These are both needs that are probably equivalent. The most important need of the Web3 user, the apex, NLM, not losing money. Yeah, that's right. Believe it or not losing money is a different need than making money. Does that make sense to you guys? You can have the best tech stack in the world, but if people feel like you cost them money, they don't give a shit. Terra Luna worked the whole time. The chain worked the whole fucking time. The infrastructure worked the whole fucking time. As soon as the instrument failed, nobody gave a fuck about the chain. Nobody gave a fuck about the chain. There's been other projects, right? Like ZK Sync, I think Starknet, things like that, right? They have this airdrop campaign running for the marketing of it. Does that make sense? As soon as people feel like they lose money, they don't give a fuck about your tech stack. They don't give a fuck. You cost them money. Does that make sense? Right? Do you guys understand Why these are the 2 tiers and these are the 3 needs? This is the most apex need. In order to actually fulfill this need of not losing money, you have to build a dApp where feasibly, when money is lost, because money does get lost, it can be recovered. It can be remade. Does that make sense? Not a dApp where people lose money on your dApp and they go to a different dApp. They go to a different project. Does that make sense? You want the economic viability where they can solve the problems in your dApp somewhere else in your dApp. Does that make sense? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Yeah. Does it sound wonderful, Seabiscuit? Well, do you guys understand that there's 6 or 7 ways to make money in the GPSC just in phase 1? Do you guys understand this? Yeah. This is the type of economic robustness that, like, I don't know of another project that has this. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know of another, we don't have contemporaries. We're not trying to be viable. We're not like another cool meme coin project. No. Like, this is a project that will dominate and outwin, outpace, and outsurvive our contemporaries. They're definitely not our competitors. They're just our contemporaries. Anyways, yeah. Making money is cool, but not losing money is even better than making money. I think that people convolute these 2 needs. They're not the same need. This is pain aversion. Does that make sense? This is a pain aversion need. This right here is a potential of pleasure. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand? Pain avoidance is a higher motivator and a higher need than the pursuit of pleasure, than the capture of pleasure, the extraction of it. However, right? Some people are just in it for the tech too. Some people are just like, oh well, I make some, I lose some. Like, they don't understand either way, right? But they're just like bullish in general, right? Some of them are playing the mining game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not losing money is this is, by the way, welcome to Phythianism. Phythianism, which is arguably the underlying ideology, is literally all about like reorganizing the conceptual view of Web3 and DeFi specifically. Yeah, Charlotte, exactly. Yeah, Charlotte, I mean, like, again, another thing that is like completely wrong, and this is like financially and economically illiterate, is that you have to design your tokens and you have to design your DEX based around the utilization, priorities. The utilizer. 2, the speculator. It is from the utilizer getting their needs met that the speculator can take a risk on your project. A lot of like design thinks that the speculator is the utilizer, or that the speculator's needs have to be met before the utilizer. If the utilizer's needs are not getting met, the speculator has nothing to speculate on. Does that make sense? So these meme coins, they're literally launched for the sake of the speculator. Does that make sense? Because like they don't have a utilizer, therefore they don't last. Like, they can effectively kind of like capture themselves in this derivative value of the community or the story or the experience. Does that make sense? Like, literally, like a casino is a business designed to make money from the people that attend there, but people still go to the casino for the experience of the casino. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? So like a meme coin can get big enough to the point where it has a casino sustainability. Does that make sense? Even though like there's nothing there. Does that make sense? Right? It's just the idea that, oh, you could go there and possibly make money. You could go there and gamble. Does that make sense? They have the brand value and the community value, and they scale to the size where they're sustainable. Does that make sense? Because enough people are losing to keep the winning going, right? Okay. The utilizer in PYRESWAP is the person who is playing the incantation witch vault. Does that make sense? A lot of people complain about, or they were complaining rather during the downtrend, about like, blah, 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 when are we getting back to peg? And it's like, that's the fucking speculator. I could give a fuck with the speculator. Does that make sense? Like, you have nothing to speculate on if I don't grow the amount of utilizers. Does that make sense? Yeah, like if you don't understand that growing the amount of utilizers is the number one thing, sell your fucking bag. Most people can't understand this, and like I don't know why. This is not even like leaving Phythianism 101. This is the most spoon-fed it fucking gets. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to trade futures on oil, if you want to be a speculator on oil, you're speculating on the utilization of oil at the end of the day. Because if oil isn't getting utilized, there's nothing to speculate on. Does that make sense? Blockchains like new chains, they have two components, really. They have two components. They have infrastructure, and they have instrument. Does that make sense? The infrastructure exists as an ecosystem for the instruments to behave in, to operate, for the instrument to do things in. And generally speaking, in order for this instrument to have a fucking value, its utility value is that it gates access to the infrastructure. Does that make sense? So when you trade Bitcoin on Robinhood, you're speculating on the fact that there is a Bitcoin blockchain that is actually getting transacted on. Does that make sense? Because if there is no Bitcoin blockchain, you're not trading shit on Robinhood. You're trading a fucking meme. Do you guys understand? So, there's tons of people who think that like the way that a chain like goes up in value is from like its market cap going up, but it's not. Blockchains also have utilizers and speculators. And the fact of the matter is, the instrument has use as gas, which is utility. And then as also the speculation, right? Which is just like, that's really just fucking speculation. The usage of gas is what you're speculating on. Like, not the launch. But the fact of the matter is if you really want to like make money off of these fucking blockchains, you're betting that the gas value will go up. And why would the gas value go up? There is more reasons to use that token for gas. There is more reasons to use that token for gas. Does that make sense? By the way, there's a word here. I hope you guys can read it on the screen. I'm just going to make this short form, bro. DApps. Do you guys understand? Like, if there isn't fucking DApps, nobody cares. Do you guys understand? I realize that everybody is playing the Incantation Witch Fault right now. Are you guys winning? Are you guys winning? Fantastic. Bravo. I always knew you'd get around to it. By the way, there's a channel called Theurgy, and you guys can, since you guys are pros, you should go in there and answer the questions of the new people. Does that make sense? We now have this bot, which I think is going on. I think the bot posts this message about every 11 hours in the chat. And let's see. Let's see if I can find this message. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Okay. It did this about 8 hours ago. If you're new to PYRESWAP, the Theurgy channel is a place where you can receive mentorship and tutoring from other community members. Feel free to ask questions. There's a lot of new stuff to learn, right? This is me being as much of a hugger as I possibly can. Yeah. There you go. Right there. Yep, the Theurgy channel. It's there for new people, and those new people, again, they do want to learn, but they're kind of distracted. Does that make sense? They have other things going on. Sometimes you might need to ping them again and again. But that message is there to kind of, anybody who's new to our server, they can stumble into the Theurgy channel and get like a safe place to ask questions. Make sense to you guys? Okay. The gas tokens use case is gas. Do you guys understand? So if you want to speculate on the gas token's value, if the gas token gets used more as gas, it has more utility value, which you can speculate on. Speculation value is an exponent of this. Do you guys understand? You can see this right now on Pyre Phantom. Do you guys understand? We entered a small deflationary uptrend. It looked like this. We had an uptrend that looked like it went down a bunch, and then it started going up like this. And now it's going up like this. Do you guys understand? Like, it's not a mystery how you guys behave. Do you guys understand? It's not a mystery. Okay? Like, literally, like, the utility value becomes the dominating factor. Oh shit, the utility value is the dominating factor. I should fucking buy more. Duh. Right? It's not like, yeah. Yeah, and by the way, it's coven. Cynical. Yeah, the word is coven. But covenant is another thing, I guess, yeah. I guess they have the same root word. But anyways, this is the way the price chart looks. So the fact of the matter is, why is fucking PYRESWAP the best DApp? The best fucking DApp? You know what? Let's go look. If I go to preface and I go to features and I go down here, PYRESWAP even amplifies and enhances the gas tokens on the chains is deployed on due to that it uses the gas token for more things. It uses the gas token for more things. Yeah, and why so cynical? You might be getting a higher return if you communicate with the coven. Yeah. Yeah, is why so cynical in my audience today? Yeah. Yeah, why so cynical? Are you in audio? Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Yes, yeah. Why so cynical? Yeah, like literally like the channelers. In fact, if you want to, yeah. Why so cynical? Would you like to be a channeler? Yeah, how about this? I'm going to let the channelers decide if you can be a channeler. Yeah, they will in fact have their own little meeting about whether or not you should be a channeler. And then, yeah, and then you'll get brought into this inner circle. Sound like fun? Well, why so cynical? It doesn't take that much time. Yeah, it doesn't take that much time because you can let them take the effective lead. Perhaps you should be a thaumaturge, but I'll have this. I will let them determine how it should play out. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but you know, guys like Maddie and Javery and Seabiscuit, you know, you guys can send friend requests to each other if you want to. Yep. Yeah, you guys can just send each other friend requests. You guys can at least talk about, when you do have some small time, the relative gist about what we're even talking about here. Anyways, back to the gas token. It consistently incentivizes. Incentivizes. incentivizes more gas token usage. For those of you who go back, for those of you who go back with us all the way to the open beta, and I think even when we were doing this in Genesis, are you guys aware that things like the Incantation Witch Vault and the Epoch Controller can end up in the top 5 gas guzzlers on Phantom Opera? Are you guys aware of that? That we have smart contracts that can end up in the top 10 gas guzzler list on Phantom? Duh. Yeah. Like, that's bullish for the token, that the gas is getting used. Do you guys understand? I think this is something that I understand, that even the people running chains sometimes fail to understand, but it is what it is. I'm not here to besmirch anybody. Yeah. Incentivizes more gas usage. It economically balances the DApp ecosystem established on that network. Yeah, like it has this, it's literally like this. Let me use a different marker. When we talk about like balance and harmony and stuff like that, we talk about the concept of terrazio, which I talk about all the fucking time, right? Right? It's more like PYRESWAP's existence creates, actually, creates this counterbalance inside their balance. Does that make sense? So this green one here, this one can be BNB. And this purple one here is what? Can you guys guess? PYREBNB. Can you guys see this? Can you read that? Do you guys understand this? Because however BNB is behaving, there is an upside and a downside to how PYREBNB looks at that. Does that make sense? So if BNB rallies, this can in theory be good for the BNB network, but not good for PYREBNB. Does that make sense? Because it is getting its relative TWAP reduced. Does that make sense? It could stay the exact same price in dollars, but it could literally have its TWAP reduced from BNB rallying. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand? You might not understand that one. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like if BNB doubles in price, but PYREBNB doesn't double in price, this is arguably, it looks like a fucking relative setback. It's not, right? But the fact of the matter is the share token and things like that, or even people trying to play the incantation arcane, right? They now have a longer way to go. So in fact, BNB rallying could in fact decrease the price of things like D-share, because it's like, oh, well now we have a farther amount of time to go to peg, and the time value of that will be relevant on the price chart. Make sense? At the same time, BNB crashing can bring PYREBNB to peg. It can bring dibs to peg. Does that make sense? These tokens are going to be in more liquidity pools, especially with stable coins and stuff like that. And when they're in liquidity with stable coins, they're not going to get dragged with the movement of the main token, of the gas token. Does that make sense? Like they'll have more liquidity pools that kind of provide frame of reference. Yeah. Yes, Fexer, that is in theory the double bag. Yeah. So right now, like literally both those things happening can in fact create exponential value for you. And at the same time, yeah. Well, Fexer, I want you to know, best part about Pyre Phantom is that it increases the usage of Phantom. Make sense, everybody? Right? So like, what's the actual aspect where we can affect the price of Phantom? How can PYRESWAP affect the price of Phantom? By increasing its fucking gas usage. Do you guys get what I'm saying? We also increase the relevance of it in math. Yeah. Right? So like using Phantom as your numeraire gives the token itself more prestige. Do you guys understand? It's not just kowtowing to the dollar. Does that make sense? Right? Right? So like PYRESWAP also shows a reverence to the gas token that other dApps don't do. Does that make sense? It literally says like, okay, let's have a crypto economy inside this blockchain. Okay? Where we don't care about the dollar. Make sense? I know you guys care about the dollar, but the tokens don't. Okay. Anyways, let's see. Do you guys have any questions? I was going to talk more about like the Fed today, but I don't think I'm going to do that on Tuesdays. I think I'll do that maybe Thursdays if you want to talk more about banking. Anyways, yeah, so the reason that we're canceling the shows on Sundays and Fridays is so I can reserve more social energy for other types of awareness generating content. For those of you who would like to help us with marketing, we're going to get the whole community involved in this. That is in the Reddit server that is posted in the announcement. So, sorry, the Discord server. If you could also join our fucking subreddit, if you guys are a Reddit user, we would love it if we could get our subreddit to 50 subscribers, and that is available over at r/PYRESWAP. And I actually don't know what the member count is right now, but it was like 37 or 38. So if we can get this subreddit to over 50 users, we have the ability to actually auto-post content in the subreddit. And that right there helps. Let's put it that way. You got to get the ball rolling with these things. Do you guys understand? And then, by the way, you know, one of the advantages of crypto winter, yeah. Crypto winter has smarter people in it. Does that make sense? Like, I mean real crypto winter, right? Like, not like whatever the fuck people are saying is happening now. Like, are we even... Honestly, the amount of bullishness in our server is so disproportionate to everybody else. Let's take a look at this. What are we looking at this? 59,000? Okay, it's down on the day and the hour, but it's up 10% on the week. I have no idea how fucking people feel. Let's fucking refresh this. Yesterday was fear. Oh, sorry, more fear today. The fear and greed index is higher, so we have a greater amount of fear today. The crypto market is scared today, but not here, not our project. You guys see that? Yeah. Anybody here feel fear today? I think more of a greed day in the GPSC. Do you guys understand? I have so many markers here that they're all just like falling off the thing all the time. The GPSC is capable of being in greed cycles when the rest of the Web3 is peak fear. Now, guys, I want you to understand that the opposite is also true. The opposite is also true. Does that make sense? Again, this is a crypto economy inside the crypto economy. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand? Okay. By the way, the GPSC is capable of having different greed and fear cycles on different chains. So BNB could be in a greed cycle while fucking Avalanche is in fear. Does that make sense to you guys? Anyways, nothing left to do but to scale this fucking project to $1 billion market cap, huh? Why wouldn't we? Right? As far as like fucking money goes, like, is there any DApp that can fucking hold a candle to us? What's crazy is that like it just requires such a steep paradigm shift that like that right there is like the barrier to entry. Like all you have to do to wrap your head around PYRESWAP is to take 75% of what you know about Web3 and throw it the fuck out. That right there is so hard for people. By the way, new vocabulary update. New vocabulary update. Okay, this is important, you guys. I've been fucking around with this word and figuring out what word I want to say when I describe this aspect. And the word is now this. Perfuncto heuristic. Perfuncto heuristic. I was saying paraheuristic, paraheuristic, fucking super heuristic, auto heuristic before. Yeah. The real word now is perfuncto heuristic. So I'm going to use this word. I'm going to define what perfunctory. This is, again. Remember saying, why the fuck does this matter? Like, why the fuck did you suddenly tangent into this? Perfunctory plus heuristic. Do you guys understand that? Here, we're going to go look at the definitions of perfunctory and heuristic real quick on screen. Carried out with a minimum of effort or reflection. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes, welcome back, Charlotte. Perfunctory. Again, of an action or gesture carried out with a minimum of effort or reflection. Everybody follow me? Perfunctory. Let's look at heuristic definition. Enabling someone to discover or learn something for themselves, or proceeding to a solution by trial and error by rules that are loosely defined. Does that make sense? So what this means is we're describing an aspect of human nature, okay? By the way, this is another thing that I should probably get the Nobel fucking Prize for, maybe one day. But anyways, when we describe human nature is such that they want to figure out the most simplistic way to learn something that minimizes their mental labor later. Does that make sense? Like the labor of making the decision is minimized. So therefore, the quickest set of criteria, perfunctory analysis, if it will, that ends up being reinforced as a habit. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Do you guys understand? So the fact of the matter is, yeah, Maddie, exactly, because once people arrive at their heuristic, they will stay with that heuristic. Does that make sense? Yeah, so like literally, it would be more like perfuncto heuristic habit-forming behavior. It's probably the fucking most academically formal way to describe it. Perfuncto heuristic Do you guys understand what we're describing? This is the big difficulty threshold when you're marketing anything, right? Especially if you're trying to shift paradigm. Does that make sense? Because you have to actually change the way people analyze something. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand that, like, hey, What do you mean red candles can't kill PYRESWAP? What do you mean it's a winter-proof ecosystem? What do you mean it can be in a greed cycle when the rest of crypto's in a fear cycle? What do you mean? That makes no sense, right? It requires them to literally undo previous perfuncto heuristics. Does that make sense? They're biases. Do you guys have any questions? When you hear me say perfuncto heuristic in the future, that is what I'm referring to, and it's a kind of a critical aspect in the design of not just this project but other things that I design, because arguably it's to our benefit, but to our it's to our detriment, but to our benefit. We just have to be aware of it. Does that make sense? Right? Like people think like, but the chart isn't going up. Do you guys remember the consideration stage of the funnel? Right? Right? This is the fucking fundamental analysis. Discord, Twitter, chart. Perfuncto heuristic consideration. Yeah, Maddie, you're correct. You're correct. And Maddie, sometimes people don't want their biases challenged. People want their biases confirmed. Does that make sense? So when GPSE comes in and it challenges the way people think about dApps, like people, like institutional people are going to be averse to it. Does that make sense? Because like they don't like the idea that something is possible that they previously thought was impossible. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like people don't like to be challenged on a fundamental level, right? But this is a true disrupt. You guys will see, whether you're watching this today with me now, like live, yeah. They don't want one of their base assumptions about their worldview challenged. So the fact of the matter is, yeah, well, not even that, Maddie. Like literally, they just know meme coins, and they just know fucking nothing lasts in DeFi. Or they know Ponzi schemes and pump and dumps. Yeah. Yep. And by the way, Wake, we're going to have the other chains get saturated, even if that just requires us to fucking saturate and crowd out the Phantom side. Yeah. Now, CJ, he just wants the user base to grow on Avalanche, is what he's saying. Yeah, he's not talking about the epoch. He just wants the user base to grow there. I also want the user base to grow. Don't worry, we'll grow it on all three chains. Does that make sense? Okay. So the fact of the matter is that like people do you guys know that we don't really use the tomb fork aspect of this project in our marketing? Do you guys know why? Like why don't we mention tomb forks in the marketing? Again, perfuncto heuristic, right? Right? Well, this is now a green check mark, now a green check mark, now a green check mark. People watched so many fucking things bad happen with Tomb Fork that the fact that Tomb Forks would be involved in this makes them averse. Does that make sense to you guys? Because they have already made themselves safe from Tomb Forks based on the fact that they're not willing to let themselves get hurt again. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand? Some people first of all, nobody understood Tomb Forks the first time around. So therefore, the perception of Tomb Forks is literally like the fucking deaf, like making a judgment about the blind. Yeah, Maddie, yeah. And not even that, like more so that like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Does that make sense? Like that is just, they're going to be perfuncto heuristic to touching a Tomb Fork. Five can succeed where 80 fucking Tomb Fork devs didn't know what to do. Right, nobody wants to believe that. That might imply that there's a significant gap between me and everybody else. Can you imagine what that would do to my ego if I learned that? There's a significant gap between me and everybody else. Goodness gracious, I don't know if we're gonna make it. My head might just explode. It might just swell. And swell and swell and swell. Until you can see the veins in my forehead from all the swelling happening in my head. Okay. Who has a question? Indeed, PYRESWAP is not boring. Additionally, by the way, guys, I've seen some sneak peeks of the game being built for Xeon, possibly built for other tokens in the future as well, and it's getting more and more advanced. So more on that later. There is the game being built for Xeon is having more depth added to it. Make sense? All right, more on that later. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? No more questions? Friday show is canceled. Sunday show is canceled. We will have a new schedule next week for these shows. Actually, I'm not going to tell you what days they are yet because I got to look over that again. Yep, that's what it's all about. Fexer, thanks. You like my shirt? Okay, it's more of like Fexer, it's more of like proving this works. And secondly, hitting peg is great because it allows us to get out of fucking debt. Does that make sense? Yeah, like like I'll tell you this, Fexer, we're gonna have all of the fucking Tomb Forks. Okay. Like, yeah, actual boardroom prints. Then we have to what? We have to launch the other fucking, like, then we need affogato, right? Affo, fucking ribs, and hoggy, right? Wake right now in the chat, he's talking about Piggy. Like, this is like, Piggy needs to get plugged in to the fucking project, right? So we need to, like, finish phase one, right? But we're not gonna launch these until we get actual boardroom prints. Does that make sense, Fixer? Because otherwise, like, this is about proving my theoretics. So secondly, Fixer, we also don't have enough liquidity for phase two. Like, phase two needs a shit ton more liquidity. Like, we increase liquidity from increasing the price at this point. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, does that make sense? Yeah, like, we need more liquidity. We can't really get to phase two without getting like a 7-figure or possibly even an 8-figure TVL. Like, it doesn't make sense to really to make that leap. Yeah, phase two is fucking crazy too. Like, phase two has a lot of shit in it. Phase two is, phase one is pretty important. Phase two adds a lot of new shit. And then phase five is gigantic as well. So, like, phase two is a lot. And possibly the GPSC might be on more chains prior to phase two as well. So we might be on fucking other chains. I'm not going to fucking name drop any chains. But, yeah. Then, literally, phase two is so much. Fexer, we don't have enough user base for phase two. Does that make sense? Yeah, literally, we need enough user base to, like, get onto the. if we don't hit our user base goals for phase 1, we don't ever get to phase 2. Like, we just stay here marketing phase 1 until we get to our user base goals. Once we get our user base, we'll be at peg all the time. You'll just be in the fucking Vibratile range. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, there just needs to be more fucking chaos. The chaos flywheel's more chaos. The project now works. Yeah, I mean, it works now, but it's high friction. There isn't enough oil on the engine. Does that make sense to you guys? So right now, the engine works, but there's just not enough lube on it. But yeah, phase two Fxer is just, like, I'm trying to teach people how to, like, phase 2, there needs to be enough of a user base in phase 1 where phase 2 can even be put into their brain. Does that make sense? Yep, anyways, thank you guys so much for coming to the PYRESWAP show. Want to thank everybody again, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.